Now, coming to the functions that help you to achieve dynamic memory allocation. The first function is malloc function. Now, what does an malloc function do? First of all, while we've discussed pointers topic and void pointers topic, we'll think about that once. First of all, we know that every function must have a return type. Yes, right? So similarly, malloc is a function, so it must have a return type. The return type of the function malloc calloc is a void pointer. It's a void pointer. Whenever we are trying to access memory using these functions, compulsorily we need to typecast those functions also. Now first let us understand what I have written here. I have written the syntax of malloc function. That is, I am using malloc function and I am specifying the how many number of bytes I want in this brackets, and after getting those many number of bytes, what am I doing? I am just applying the cast type. Now we'll see with an example what actually that means. Now suppose I would like to store 100 elements continuously in the memory. So what is the problem with an array? During the compile time itself we may not know. So during the runtime we need to understand how many elements have to be stored. Now what happens? 100 elements have to be stored, right? So malloc function, I am asking malloc function to to allocate 100 elements. 100 elements, memory for 100 elements. And I have mentioned that 100 into size of int. What is size of int? What is the size of an integer? This is a special operator, size of is. So integer will give you 4 bytes. Size of int means 4 bytes. So 100 into 4, 400 bytes. So 400 bytes of continuous memory will be allocated. Since we are talking this is a memory, what should we do? Memory can always be stored in a pointer, and I am naming that pointer here to be x. So what does that malloc function do is, after allocating the memory, it will give the memory address of the first element and it will store in the pointer x. Since this is a void pointer, we have to mention that these 400 bytes can be any type of data can be stored. Say like 400 characters can be stored, 100 numbers can be stored. So we have to specify that since this is a void pointer, convert that pointer into an integer pointer. Now what happens is, every 4 bytes will be treated as a unit, as done in an arrays concept only. So I hope everyone understood what happens with an malloc function. What happens with an malloc function? Whatever size you are specifying, that will be allocated continuously, and the first byte address will be stored in pointer x. And moreover, malloc's return type, the function return type is a void pointer. So we should be careful by typecasting the pointer. That's why we are placing an integer pointer before the malloc function. Now calloc function also works same as the malloc function, but only the difference is we should not place, there we placed a star symbol mentioning that I want 100 into 4 bytes each. So that's why I placed a star there. Here you have to mention a comma. That is, I want 100 elements of size integer each by separating with a comma. The main difference occurs here is while during the memory allocation and the initialization of those memory allocations. What happens is, the 400 bytes will be allocated continuously. The first memory location also will be stored in pointer x, but the difference is you will be storing values 0 in that memory allocations. That means in malloc function, previously in the malloc function, all garbage value will be stored. In calloc function, they will be initialized to a value 0 even though you did not give any value prior. Coming to the realloc function. What a realloc function does? Previously in malloc and calloc, we declared how much ever memory space we want, and we achieved that. Now, if you would like to, during the program's execution, if you would like to alter that memory. Now, suppose PTR is holding the entire first byte of the memory. Now, what you can do is, suppose that has the capacity to hold 400 bytes of memory. Now, during the program you understood that I don't want 400 bytes of memory, I only want 10 bytes of memory. You can just simply use a realloc function and you can modify the size. How? Suppose that the pointer is PTR, you are using the function realloc and you are mentioning the pointer, comma, just specify the new size. Now what happens is 400 will be altered to 10 bytes only. Only 10 bytes of continuous memory will be allocated, and the remaining 390 bytes will be just removed from your allocation. That is the advantage of realloc function. Coming to the free function. Now what does this do? After the usage of entire memory you have allocated, it is our responsibility to release those memory spaces for the further consumption. Why? Because not all computer systems may not be able to give memory resources to all the programmers who are using that system. So it is our responsibility. Suppose PTR is holding 1000 bytes of memory from your previous malloc function and calloc function. Now after the end of the program, while closing the main function, it is our responsibility to use this free function, and you can maintain that pointer name. Suppose that pointer holding the memory is PTR. Just write down that pointer name. What does the system does is, it will immediately release the entire memory allocated. Entire 1000 bytes will be released from your program, and it can be used by any other person. So this is the summary of the entire dynamic memory allocation. So in the next session, we will see the programs for malloc and calloc.